small moment can change your life forever. At a dazzling movie premiere in New York City, a 2-year-old girl with innocent eyes did something no one could have anticipated. She stepped through the glittering world of fame and stole popcorn from Keanu Reeves's hand. But it wasn't her playful act that left the entire theater in stunned silence. It was his heartwarming reaction, a gesture that seemed almost surreal in its kindness. Why would an A-list star take time to respond to such a seemingly trivial act? Stay with this story. It will touch your heart and change the way you see love, family, and second chances in life. It all began on a chilly December evening in 2023. The red carpet premiere of a blockbuster movie was in full swing in downtown Los Angeles. Among the glitz and glamour was Keanu Reeves, the renowned actor celebrated as much for his humility and generosity as for his Hollywood stardom. Seated quietly in the front row, he was enjoying a rare moment of calm. Little did he know that the most memorable encounter of the evening wouldn't involve adoring fans or flashing cameras, but would come from an unexpected source. A popcorn-loving toddler named Lily Harper, just 2 years old. Lily, a curious little girl with soft blonde curls and wide blue eyes, attended the event with her mother, Emily. Emily, a single mom in her early 30s, was a screenwriter just beginning to find her footing in the competitive industry. She had managed to snag 2 tickets to the premiere through a professional connection and decided to bring Lily along, hoping the night would become a cherished memory. It did, but not in the way she had imagined. Seated just 3 rows away from Keanu, Lily was captivated by the irresistible aroma of buttered popcorn wafting from the bucket in his hand. Oblivious to the sea of adults and the flashing cameras, she waddled over to him in the middle of the screening. Without hesitation, Lily reached into Keanu's popcorn bucket. For a moment, the entire audience froze, unsure of what would happen. Keanu responded with a warm, genuine smile that lit up the room. Far from being annoyed, he leaned down and whispered something to Lily that made her giggle. Then, to everyone's astonishment, he handed her the entire bucket. Unbeknownst to those watching, Lily's innocent gesture had stirred a flood of bittersweet memories in Keanu. It reminded him of the tender moments he once shared with his younger sister, Jennifer, who had passed away many years earlier, when she was little before life became complicated. Emily, flustered and embarrassed, hurried over to pull Lily away, apologizing profusely. But Keanu gently stopped her. "It's okay. She's adorable," he said in his signature calm tone, lowering himself to Lily's eye level. "Popcorn tastes better when it's shared." Those simple yet profound words seemed to encapsulate the essence of Keanu Reeves, a man who found beauty in life's unpretentious connections. Lily's small, bold act melted the icy veneer of a room filled with Hollywood's elite. People began to laugh, applaud, and even share their own snacks. For Emily, standing just a few steps away from a global superstar, her heart raced, not because of his fame, but because of the quiet kindness reflected in his eyes. At the Los Angeles premiere, where the spotlight sparkled brightly, the night's true highlight didn't come from the big screen but from the brief interaction between a renowned actor and a small child. Lily, barely 2 years old, now sat comfortably on Keanu Reeves's lap, her tiny hands eagerly stuffing popcorn into her mouth as she giggled. Her innocence seemed to dissolve the tension of the high-profile event. Keanu watched her intently, his eyes shimmering with joy and a touch of melancholy. In that moment, he was transported back to memories of his younger sister, Kim, who had passed away from leukemia many years ago. As a child, Kim had often sat by his side during movie nights, and he had taught her the importance of sharing popcorn. Those memories washed over him like a gentle tide, filling him with a bittersweet ache. Emily noticed the subtle shift in his expression. "Are you okay?" she asked softly, her voice barely audible amidst the surrounding noise. Keanu nodded and offered a faint smile. "She reminds me of someone I miss very much," he said, his voice tender yet tinged with sorrow. Sensing the weight in his words, Emily didn't press further. Throughout the event, Keanu remained seated beside Emily and Lily, chatting as though they were old friends. Emily, a single mother who had raised Lily on her own after her father abandoned them before her birth, found herself feeling unexpectedly at ease in his presence. There was a humility and warmth about him, a quality she hadn't experienced in a long time. When the screening ended, Keanu insisted on escorting Emily and Lily to their car, shielding them from the swarm of paparazzi waiting outside. Beneath the soft glow of the streetlights, Emily hesitated, her voice trembling as she spoke. "I don't know if you'll remember tonight in a week or a month," she began, "but you've made this evening unforgettable for my daughter, and for me." Keanu glanced down at Lily, now fast asleep in her mother's arms, her tiny hand clutching a few pieces of popcorn. "I will remember," he said softly. "Moments like these are why I keep going." Tears sparkled in Emily's eyes as she murmured, "You have no idea how much this means to us." Keanu was quiet for a moment, as if carefully choosing his words. Then he pulled out a small, neatly folded piece of paper and handed it to her. "If you ever need someone to talk to, or if you'd like to take Lily to a movie again, give me a call." As he walked away, Emily unfolded the paper. It wasn't just a phone number. It included an address and a handwritten note. "For new beginnings, keep sharing the popcorn." In the days that followed, Emily wrestled with whether to reach out. She didn't want to seem like a fan trying to insert herself into his life. But one night, when Lily hugged her stuffed bunny and asked about the popcorn man, Emily made a decision. She wrote a letter and sent it to the address he had provided. In the letter, she shared her struggles and the pain of being a single mother. She spoke of the dreams she had set aside and how, in that fleeting moment, their encounter had given her a sense of hope she hadn't felt in years. Emily didn't expect much in return. But 2 weeks later, a small package arrived on her doorstep. Inside was a handwritten note from Keanu. "Life seems to have been tough on both of us. Maybe we can help make it a little easier for each other. This Saturday, let's share some popcorn, just the three of us." Emily sat down, her hands trembling, tears streaming down her face. She didn't know if this was the start of something extraordinary or merely a fleeting act of kindness from someone who had endured more pain than most could imagine. But she knew one thing for certain. For the first time in years, she no longer felt like she had to walk this road alone. Saturday came faster than Emily expected. That morning, she paced nervously around her small apartment, her mind swirling with doubts. Would Keanu actually show up? Or had this been a fleeting moment of politeness? She reminded herself not to hope for too much. At precisely 3 p.m., there was a soft knock at the door. When she opened it, there stood Keanu, holding a large bucket of popcorn and a bouquet of white daisies. His signature black coat had been swapped for a simple gray sweater, and his smile was warm but tinged with a hint of shyness. "I wasn't sure if daisies were too much," he said, awkwardly holding out the bouquet. Emily laughed, her anxiety melting away in an instant. "They're perfect. Please come in." From the living room, Sophie looked up. From her coloring books, her eyes widened, and she shouted gleefully, "Popcorn man!" She dashed toward him, wrapping her tiny arms around his legs. Keanu crouched down to her level and handed her the bucket. "For you, Miss Sophie," he said, gently tousling her curly hair. What followed was an afternoon filled with simple, unexpected joys. They watched Sophie's favorite animated movie together, pausing every few minutes as she excitedly pointed out her favorite scenes. Keanu didn't mind at all. In fact, he seemed genuinely engaged, asking questions and laughing heartily at Sophie's wide-eyed explanations. For Emily, it was surreal. One of the most famous men in the world was sitting cross-legged on her worn-out rug, sharing popcorn with her daughter as if they'd known each other forever. Yet, deep down, a sliver of doubt lingered. Why would someone like him care about her and Lily's life? Later that evening, after Lily had fallen asleep on the couch, Emily couldn't hold back her question any longer. "Why us? Why are you here?" Keanu's smile faded slightly. He leaned back against the sofa, his gaze drifting upward to the ceiling. For a long moment he said nothing. Finally he spoke, his voice quiet but steady. "Because I know what it feels like when the world seems to leave you behind. When you feel like you're alone." Keanu's voice caught slightly, and Anna's heart ached at the fragility in his words. He continued, sharing painful fragments of his past. Losing his best friend, Logan Carter, at a young age, the unimaginable shocks he had endured, the loss of his daughter, Ava, and later her mother, Sarah, left deep wounds in Keanu's soul. He admitted, "I spent years trying to find meaning in all that loss. And then, sometimes, someone like Lily comes along to remind me that life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful." Anna felt silent tears stream down her face. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. Keanu shook his head, his gaze soft. "Don't be. Meeting you and Lily, it's like finding a small piece of that beauty again." His words lingered in the air, heavy with emotion. Anna wanted to say something, to thank him for his honesty, but no words seemed right. Instead, she reached out, gently taking his hand, offering a quiet comfort he hadn't realized he needed. In the months that followed, Keanu became a familiar presence in their lives. He often stopped by with groceries, helped Lily complete her coloring books, and even encouraged Anna to revisit her dream of writing screenplays. Slowly but surely, he became more than just a friend. But as their bond deepened, so did Anna's fears. Could this truly last? Was Keanu too good to be true, or would life's inevitable hardships tear them apart? In a small corner of her mind, she also questioned whether she was ready to open her heart again. What had started as a chance encounter had blossomed into something Anna had never imagined. Keanu's presence brought a warmth she hadn't felt in years. Yet, a part of her couldn't help but wonder, was this a dream, too beautiful to last? One cool autumn evening, Keanu invited Anna and Lily to a peaceful picnic at Griffith Park. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the city. Lily ran ahead, her laughter echoing through the quiet park as she chased after a butterfly. Lily's laughter echoed through the trees as she chased butterflies, her pure joy filling the tranquil park. Meanwhile, Keanu and Anna laid out a blanket beneath the sprawling branches of a large oak tree. "Do you ever think about where life is taking you?" Keanu asked, his deep voice tinged with hesitation. Anna turned to him, slightly surprised. "Every day," she admitted. "It's hard not to, especially when life keeps throwing curveballs your way." Keanu nodded thoughtfully, his gaze dropping to his hands. "I've been thinking about it a lot lately too, about how life is full of loss, but also moments like this. Moments I don't want to let go of." Anna's heart skipped a beat. She studied him, searching his eyes for the emotions he seemed to be balancing. Gentleness mixed with uncertainty, as though he were teetering on the edge of revealing something deeply personal. Before she could respond, Lily came, running back toward them, her cheeks rosy from the evening air. "Popcorn," she called out, holding up a dandelion. "Make a wish." Keanu took the flower with a soft smile and blew on it gently, sending its tiny seeds floating into the breeze. "All done," he said, grinning at Lily. Anna tilted her head, a playful curiosity in her voice. "What did you wish for?" Keanu hesitated, then turned to her, his gaze steady and intent. "I wished for courage," he said quietly. Anna raised an eyebrow, her tone now more serious. "Courage for what?" Keanu reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Time seemed to pause as he opened it, revealing a simple yet breathtaking gold ring. "Anna Harper," he began, his voice trembling slightly, "you and Lily have given me something I thought I'd lost forever. A reason to believe in love, family, and second chances. I don't want to lose that." Taking a deep breath, he looked directly into her eyes. "Will you marry me?" Anna raised her hand to cover her mouth, tears streaming from her eyes. In that moment, she couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. She glanced down at Sophie, who was clapping her hands excitedly, then back at Keanu, whose eyes radiated hope and vulnerability. "Yes," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." Keanu carefully slid the ring onto her finger, his hand steady despite the overwhelming emotion in his gaze. Lily threw herself into his arms, laughing, and he wrapped them both in a tight embrace, holding them as if they were the most precious treasures in the world. But their story didn't end there. In the weeks following their engagement, joy and healing spread not only between them but to everyone around them. Keanu, once known for his quiet solitude, now glowed with a renewed energy. He took Anna to film sets, introducing her to people who could help her revive her dream of screenwriting. In return, Anna helped him open up, encouraging him to share his pain, fears, and dreams. Late at night, they would sit together, Anna listening without judgment, offering him a safe space to grieve and grow. On their wedding day, a small, intimate ceremony held at a vineyard in Napa Valley. There wasn't a dry eye in attendance. Sophie, adorned with a fresh flower crown, proudly served as the ring bearer. She carried a tiny basket of petals, carefully scattering them down the aisle with each small step. When Keanu and Anna exchanged their vows, their words weren't just promises. They were acknowledgments of the pain and loss that had led them to this moment, and of the love that had carried them through. "I promise to share every piece of popcorn with you," Keanu said, eliciting laughter from the guests. Then his tone grew serious. "And I promise never to take a single moment for granted because you and Lily are my everything." Anna's vows were equally heartfelt. "I never thought I'd find someone who could love me for who I truly am, scars and all. But you walked into my life and showed me that love isn't about perfection. It's about being present, even when things are hard. I promise to spend the rest of my life being present for you." As they kissed to seal their vows, the crowd erupted into cheers and applause. But for Anna and Keanu, the noise faded into the background. In that moment, there was only the two of them, embarking on a new life together. A life built on love, resilience, and hope. Stronger with the faith that even the most broken hearts can find their way home. Lily tugged at their hands, giggling as the three of them walked toward the sunset, hand in hand, ready to begin a new chapter filled with hope and happiness. "Popcorn man, more popcorn, please." Lily beamed up at Keanu, her bright eyes sparkling with pure childhood joy. Anna laughed, her heart overflowing with happiness as she watched the scene before her. Together, they all laughed, their laughter blending with the gentle evening breeze. A prelude to a beautiful journey ahead. A journey imperfect yet extraordinary, one they would write together. This story is a reminder of the power of love, healing, and second chances. Have you ever experienced a moment that seemed small but changed everything? Or found meaning in something seemingly imperfect? Share your thoughts or stories in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else. If this story touched you, don't hesitate to share it with friends and family to spread the message of love and hope. Thank you for following along and supporting us. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss heartwarming stories that help us see life through a kinder lens. Have a wonderful day, full of meaning and joy. Disclaimer: these stories are curated from various sources and do not represent any specific individual or organization. They are shared to promote human values and have been rewritten with the assistance of AI. If there are any inaccuracies, we kindly ask for your understanding. Wishing you all the best in life.